Commander Samantha Collins stared at the alert flashing on her screen. She blinked twice, hoping it was a mistake. It wasn't. An alien fleet was approaching the solar system, and they weren't responding to any messages. "How many ships?" she asked, her voice steady despite the fear building inside her. "At least 30 large vessels, Commander," replied Officer Ryan Cooper. "They just destroyed our research station near Neptune. No survivors." Samantha took a deep breath. The Sentinel-1 orbital platform had been her home for the past 3 years. From here, she had watched Earth enjoy decades of peace. Humanity had focused on science and exploration rather than weapons. At least, that's what most people believed. "Send the alert to Earth Command. Used Protocol Alpha 9. Ryan's eyes widened. "Alpha 9. That's for imminent planetary threat." "That's exactly what this is," Samantha said, standing up. "And notify Admiral Wallace immediately." The next 12 hours passed in a blur. The alien ships moved with purpose, destroying everything in their path. When they reached the mining colonies on Jupiter's moons, they sent their first message. A harsh face appeared on the main screen. The alien had gray skin with ridges along its skull and 4 yellow eyes. When it spoke, its translator made its voice sound like grinding metal. "I am General Krazak of the Hegemony. Your species is unworthy of negotiation. Surrender your planet and resources, and some of you may live as servants." Admiral Peter Wallace, speaking from Earth Command, tried to reason with the alien. "We offer peaceful cooperation. There's no need for violence." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Your weapons are primitive. Your ships are few. You have nothing to offer but your submission." The transmission ended. 6 hours later, Mars Colony was hit. The defense ships stationed there didn't stand a chance. 3,000 colonists died in minutes. Samantha watched the footage with her hands clenched into fists. In the command center on Earth, military leaders argued about what to do. "We can't fight them conventionally," said General Frank Harrison, his face grim on the video feed. "They outgun everything we have in the public fleet." "Then it's time," Samantha said. All eyes turned to her. "Project Harbinger. It's our only option." The room went silent. Project Harbinger was Earth's best-kept secret. For 30 years, Earth had shown a peaceful face to the stars while quietly building the most advanced fleet in human history. Hidden in the shadows of Neptune, disguised as mining operations and research outposts, 50 warships waited. Ships with technology that Earth publicly denied having. "If we reveal Harbinger, there's no going back," said Defense Minister Laura Webb. "Every alien race will know we've been lying. If we don't use Harbinger, there won't be anyone left to care," Samantha replied. General Harrison nodded slowly. "Begin evacuation of all space outposts. Move civilians to the underground shelters. We need time to activate the fleet." On Earth, people watched in fear as news reports showed the alien ships getting closer. Most believed these might be humanity's final days. They didn't know about the ships waiting in the darkness. In her quarters that night, Samantha looked at a photo of her parents' farm in Iowa. Green fields under blue sky, a simple life that now seems so far away. Her phone beeped with a message from her brother Alan. "Is it as bad as they're saying on the news?" he asked. Samantha thought about the truth, about Project Harbinger and the plan that was already in motion, about what would happen when the aliens discovered that humans weren't as helpless as they appeared. "Don't worry," she wrote back. "It'll be over soon." As she prepared for sleep, Sentinel-1 sensors detected the Hegemony fleet passing Mars, heading straight for Earth. In 72 hours, they would be in striking distance of her home planet. 72 hours until Earth would reveal its true strength. 72 hours until the Hegemony learned their terrible mistake. Captain William Ford stood on the bridge of the UES Deterrent, hidden among the asteroids near Neptune. The ship was Earth's most powerful warship, yet officially, it didn't exist. Neither did the 49 other capital ships floating silently nearby, or the hundreds of smaller vessels surrounding them. Status report, William said, his voice echoing in the quiet bridge. All systems ready, Captain, said Lieutenant Amy Garcia. The fleet is at full combat readiness. For 30 years, Earth had built this secret fleet while telling the galaxy it were focused only on science and trade. The ships had technology no alien race knew humans possessed: quantum shields, gravity weapons, and engines that could bend space itself. William walked to the main window and looked out at the darkness. Somewhere out there, the alien hegemony was destroying human outposts, thinking Earth was defenseless. The thought made his stomach tight with anger. His computer beeped. A message from Earth Command flashed on the screen. Operation Thundercloud authorized. Activation code: Sierra, Echo Victor, Echo November. This was it, the moment they had trained for, but hoped would never come. William pressed the ship-wide communication button. Attention all crew. This is Captain Ford. He paused, knowing his next words would change everything. Earth is under attack. The enemy believes we are weak. They believe we are easy prey. His voice grew stronger. They are wrong. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity will not be conquered. Today, we fight. Across the fleet, lights came on as ships powered up their weapons. 30 years of secrecy was about to end. On the moon base, Chief Engineer Jason Martinez worked frantically to finish the quantum shield generator. If his team succeeded, they could protect Earth from the hegemony's strongest weapons. If they failed, millions would die. "Pass me that connector," Jason said to his assistant, Beth Young. Sweat dripped from his forehead as he worked. "Will this really stop their planet killer?" Beth asked, her voice low. Jason connected the final wire. "In theory. But no one's ever built a shield this big before." In Earth's war room, deep under the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Ellen Grant watched the hegemony fleet's approach. So far, her strategy was working. Earth's visible defenses fought just hard enough to make the aliens think they were seeing everything humanity had. "Our Jupiter defense team is reporting heavy losses," said her aide. "Tell them to fall back," Ellen ordered. "Make it look desperate but controlled. We need the hegemony to commit fully to the attack." The aide nodded. "General Harrison reports Project Harbinger is ready to launch on your command." Ellen studied the map showing the enemy positions. "Not yet. We need them closer, more exposed." The hegemony commander, General Krazak, watched with satisfaction as another human ship exploded. These humans were even weaker than intelligence had suggested. Their ships were primitive, their weapons ineffective. "Begin deploying harvester ships to Jupiter and Saturn," he ordered. "We'll need resources for the occupation of Earth." His second-in-command bowed. "Should we send another demand for surrender?" "No," Krazak said. "Let them watch us destroy their outer defenses. Fear will soften them for conquest." In her small apartment in Chicago, Nurse Olivia Martinez watched the news with her neighbors. The reporter's voice shook as he described the approaching alien fleet. "Government officials urge everyone to remain calm and follow evacuation orders for your area." Olivia's phone beeped with a message from her brother Jason on the moon base. "Don't worry about what you see on the news. Trust me." She frowned at the strange message. What did he know that she didn't? In space, Captain William Ford gave the order that would start humanity's counterattack. "All ships, prepare to move out. Operation Thunderclap begins in 3 hours." The war was about to take an unexpected turn. The hegemony had no idea what was coming. Admiral Ellen Grant watched the holographic display as the alien fleet pushed deeper into the solar system. Each red dot represented a hegemony ship. There were too many of them. "Saturn Defense Station has fallen," reported her communications officer. "Survivors are retreating to Earth." Ellen nodded. The retreat was part of her plan. Every battle revealed more about how the hegemony fought while hiding Earth's true capabilities. "Send the data to Intelligence Officer Wright," she ordered. "I want to know everything about their weapons and shields." In a secure room 3 levels below, Daniel Wright received the battle recordings. For hours, He studied how the alien ships moved and fired. He noticed patterns in their attacks, weaknesses in their formations. Even more important was what he discovered when he finally broke into their communications. He rushed back to the war room, his face pale. "Admiral, I've decoded their messages," Daniel said, handing her a tablet. "They plan to harvest Earth's resources and take humans as slaves. They've done this to 17 other planets." Ellen read the report, her expression growing harder with each word. "This ends with us," she said finally. "They've never faced a species that was ready for them." On the moon, Jason Martinez's team completed the quantum shield. Now they needed to test it. "Fire the laser," Jason ordered. A beam of energy shot toward their small test shield. Instead of breaking through, the beam scattered harmlessly. "It works," Beth shouted, hugging Jason. He smiled, but only briefly. "Now we need to scale it up to protect the entire planet." On Earth's news channels, the situation looked grim. Reporters showed footage of the hegemony ships, now visible in the night sky as bright points of light moving among the stars. "The president will address the nation in 1 hour," said a nervous reporter. "Military analysts predict the alien fleet will reach Earth in less than 2 days." What the public didn't know was that Earth's military council was already meeting to launch their counterattack. General Frank Harrison spread a star map across the table. "The hegemony has committed their entire fleet to our system," he said. "No reinforcements are coming. Their supply lines are stretched thin." "Our hidden fleet is ready," said Admiral Grant. "Captain Ford reports all ships at battle stations." General Harrison looked at each person at the table. "Once we reveal our true strength, everything changes. The galaxy will know we've been hiding our capabilities." "Better that than extinction," Ellen replied. Harrison nodded. "Very well. Lieutenant Murray, send the order." Lieutenant Lisa Murray typed the command code with steady hands. "Execute Operation Thunderclap. All units engage." In space, the hegemony ships approached Jupiter, harvesting gases to refuel their fleet. General Krazak felt nothing but contempt for the humans. Their defense had been pathetic, just as expected. "Begin the final approach to Earth," he commanded. "Prepare the planet killer weapon." His sensor officer suddenly stiffened. "General, I'm detecting new signals. Many signals, coming from beyond Neptune." "A malfunction," Krazak dismissed. "Fix it." "No, sir," the officer insisted. "These are ships. Many ships. They weren't there before." On the bridge of the UES deterrent, Captain William Ford gave the order. "All ships, full power to engines. Combat formation Delta." 50 massive warships emerged from hiding, their stealth systems deactivated. Behind them came hundreds of smaller vessels. The fleet moved with perfect coordination, accelerating toward the surprised hegemony forces. "Target their command ships," William ordered. "Prepare quantum-locked missiles." The missiles were Earth's secret weapon, designed to bypass alien shields by existing partly in another dimension. "Sir," said Lieutenant Garcia, "the enemy is scanning us. They're trying to identify our ships." William smiled grimly. "Let them look. It's the last thing they'll see." The hegemony was about to learn a painful lesson. Appearances could be deceiving. Earth had prepared for this day for 30 years, and now the real war was about to begin. Karen Powell gathered her students in the underground shelter beneath Seattle Elementary School. 28 children huddled on floor mats, their faces pale with fear. Through the small windows near the ceiling, strange lights flashed in the night sky. "Miss Powell, are those the alien ships?" asked 7-year-old Lily, pointing up. Karen nodded, keeping her voice calm. "Yes, but we're safe down here." "Are they going to hurt us?" another child asked. Karen didn't know the answer, but she had to be strong for them. "Our soldiers are protecting us. Try to get some sleep now." Once the children settled down, Karen checked her phone. News reports showed hegemony ships around Earth. Military experts predicted defeat within days. Her brother Joe was in the Air Force, but he hadn't answered her messages for 2 days. All across Earth, people faced what they thought might be their final hours. In New York, crowds gathered in Central Park, looking up at the sky. In Moscow, families huddled in subway stations converted to shelters. In Rio de Janeiro, people prayed on the beaches. Some cities had riots as people fought for supplies. But most humans found dignity in what they believed were humanity's last moments. Strangers helped each other. Enemies made peace. Parents comforted children. No one knew that Earth's real defense was about to begin. On a harvester ship near Jupiter, Kradzak received alarming reports. "Impossible," he growled at his sensor officer. "Humans don't have that many ships." "The readings are clear, General," the officer insisted. 50 large vessels approaching from Neptune's orbit, hundreds of smaller craft. They're using technology we've never seen from them. Kradzak slammed his fist on the console. "Why didn't we detect them before?" "Unknown, sir. They appeared suddenly, as if from nowhere. Launch all fighters. Target their largest ships first." But the hegemony was already at a disadvantage. Their fleet was spread out, harvesting resources. They weren't in battle formation. In Earth's command center, General Frank Harrison watched the tactical display. The hidden fleet was moving fast, approaching the scattered hegemony ships. "They're surprised," said Lieutenant Murray. "Their communications are chaotic." Harrison nodded. "Good. Admiral Grant, you have command of the space battle." Ellen stepped forward. "All ships, execute attack pattern Omega. Vice Admiral Winters, move your battle group to cut off their retreat." Near Saturn, Vice Admiral Patricia Winters led 20 ships out from hiding in the planet's rings. "Deploy gravitic mines," she ordered. "Don't let any of them escape." The mines were another secret weapon, designed to collapse the very space the alien ships occupied. On the UES deterrent, Captain Ford watched as the first wave of quantum-locked missiles launched. The missiles phased partially into another dimension, passing through hegemony shields before becoming fully solid again. "Direct hits on 6 enemy command ships," reported Lieutenant Garcia. The hegemony returned fire, but their weapons were less effective against Earth's advanced shields. For the first time, the aliens faced an enemy more technologically advanced than themselves. In her shelter, Karen Powell felt the ground shake. Above, the sky lit up with explosions visible even from Earth's surface. Her phone beeped with an emergency alert. "Remain in shelters. Military operations in progress." Then a new message came from her brother Joe. "Don't worry. We're winning." Karen stared at the message in confusion. Winning? Against those massive alien ships, it seemed impossible. In space, the battle grew more intense. Hegemony ships tried to regroup, but Earth's fleet had the advantage of surprise and superior position. Captain Ford's ships pressed forward, targeting enemy vessels with precision. "Sir," said Lieutenant Garcia, "the enemy is attempting to aim their planet-killer weapon at Earth." William's expression hardened. "Not on my watch. All ships, focus fire on that weapon." The moment had come for Earth to show its true strength. The hegemony was about to learn they had made a fatal mistake in attacking humanity. General Frank Harrison stood in the war room deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. His uniform was wrinkled from 36 hours without sleep. The wall screens showed the battle unfolding in space. Blue dots for Earth ships, red for the hegemony. There were still too many red dots. "Status report," he ordered. "Our fleet has engaged the enemy successfully," said Lieutenant Lisa Murray. "Casualties at 12%, but the hegemony losses are at 30% and rising." Frank studied the display. The hidden fleet had struck hard and fast, catching the aliens by surprise. But surprise only worked once. Now, the real fight began. "What about the planet killer weapon?" he asked. "The enemy is moving it into position," Lisa replied. "Estimated firing time, 20 minutes. Frank turned to the communications officer. "Get me Chief Engineer Martinez on the moon." Jason's tired face appeared on screen. "Sir, the quantum shield is at 86% power. We need at least 90 to stop the planet killer. You have 15 minutes, Martinez. Make it happen. After the call ended, Defense Minister Laura Webb approached Frank. We should order the fleet to target the planet killer directly. Captain Ford is already trying, Frank said. The hegemony has their strongest shields around it. Frank walked to the window that looked out onto the command center. Dozens of officers tracked the battle, coordinating Earth's forces. They had trained for this moment, but training was never the same as real combat. Sir, said Lisa, I have the latest intelligence report. The hegemony fleet has fully committed to our solar system. No reinforcements are available to them. Their supply lines are stretched thin. Frank read the report carefully. This was the moment he had been waiting for. The hegemony had fallen into Earth's trap, thinking humans were easy prey. Now they were overextended and vulnerable. But if he ordered a full attack too soon, Earth might lose its advantage. If he waited too long, the planet killer might fire. Frank thought of his family in their shelter in Colorado, his wife Nancy, and their 2 children. He was fighting for them, for everyone's families. What would you do, Lieutenant? He asked Lisa suddenly. She looked surprised, but answered without hesitation. Strike now, sir. The hegemony is off balance. They don't understand our technology yet. The longer we wait, the more they'll adapt. Frank nodded slowly. She was right. It was time. He stood straighter and addressed the command center. This is General Harrison. Send the order to all forces. Execute Operation Thunderclap. Phase 2. All units engage at full capacity. Throughout the solar system, Earth's remaining hidden forces revealed themselves. Defense platforms that looked like ordinary satellites activated powerful weapons. Small attack ships emerged from hidden bases on Mars and the Moon. On the UES deterrent, Captain William Ford received the order. All ahead full, he commanded. Target their command ships with everything we've got. His weapons officer replied, Sir, the planet killer is charging. Estimated firing time, 7 minutes. William's face showed no fear. Then we have 6 minutes to stop it. On the moon base, Jason Martinez worked frantically on the quantum shield. Reroute power from the north sector, he told Beth. We need every bit of energy. The shield's power level climbed. 87%, 88, 89. In her shelter in Seattle, Karen Powell felt her phone vibrate. Another message from her brother Joe. Watch the sky in 5 minutes. History is about to change. In the hegemony command ship, General Krozak struggled to understand what was happening. Humans were supposed to be weak, primitive, yet their ships moved with incredible speed and precision. Their weapons cut through hegemony shields like they were nothing. General, said his second-in-command, 3 more command ships lost. Our fleet is requesting orders. Krozak growled in frustration. Continue the attack. The planet killer will fire soon. Once Earth is burning, their resistance will end. But as he watched the battle unfold, doubt crept into his mind for the first time. The humans had deceived them. The question was, how much more were they hiding? Captain William Ford watched as Earth's fleet moved into attack formation. The space around Jupiter had become the main battlefield. Explosions lit up the darkness as human and hegemony ships exchanged fire. 3 minutes until the planet killer weapon is ready to fire, Lieutenant Garcia reported. All ships, focus fire on these coordinates, William ordered, marking the weapon's location. We need to break through their shields. 50 Earth ships turned their weapons on the massive hegemony vessel carrying the planet killer. Energy beams and missiles struck the alien shields, creating ripples of light. Their shields are holding at 60%, said Garcia. William frowned. It wasn't enough. They needed something more. Get me Lieutenant Commander Nelson on the UES Phantom, he said. George Nelson's face appeared on screen. He commanded Earth's most advanced stealth ship, designed to slip past enemy defenses undetected. I need you to deploy the quantum virus, William said. Can you get close enough? George nodded. We can try. The Phantom can get through their sensor net. You have 2 minutes before that weapon fires. The UEA's Phantom was small and nearly invisible to sensors, while the main fleet attacked from the front, drawing the hegemony's attention. The Phantom slipped behind enemy lines. Approaching target, George told his crew. Activate full stealth mode. The ship seemed to fade from view as its stealth systems engaged. It glided silently toward the heart of the hegemony formation. Meanwhile, on the moon base, Jason Martinez watched the shield power level with growing anxiety. 90%, said Beth. We need more power. Jason made a difficult decision. Shut down life support in the empty sections. Divert all power to the shield. That's against safety protocols, Beth warned. If that planet killer fires, protocols won't matter, Jason replied. On Earth, in the war room, General Harrison received a message from Admiral Grant. The UES Phantom is attempting to deploy the quantum virus, she reported. If successful, it will disrupt the hegemony's hive mind communication. And if it fails? Frank asked. Then we better hope Martinez gets that shield working, Ellen replied. The Phantom reached the center of the hegemony fleet. From its position, the crew could see the massive planet killer weapon glowing with energy as it prepared to fire. Package ready, said George's weapons officer. George took a deep breath. Deploy the quantum virus. A small probe shot from the Phantom, heading straight for the hegemony command ship. It attached to the hull, bypassing the shields by partially existing in another dimension. The same technology used in Earth's missiles. The probe activated, sending pulses of code into the alien systems. The quantum virus was designed to disrupt the hegemony's hive mind communication, the system that allowed their ships to coordinate perfectly. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, throughout the hegemony fleet, ships began to drift out of formation. Commands were delayed or lost entirely. It's working, Garcia reported on the deterrent. Their formation is breaking down. William didn't waste the opportunity. All ships target the planet killer's main cannon. Earth's fleet fired together, their weapons striking the now vulnerable weapon. On the moon, Jason watched as the shield power reached 92%. Shield activated, he shouted. A transparent blue dome appeared around Earth, visible from space as a thin barrier of energy. Just in time, the hegemony planet killer fired, sending a beam of devastating energy toward Earth. It struck the quantum shield and spread across it like lightning on water. For a terrifying moment, the shield flickered. Then, remarkably, the energy began to flow back along the beam, following the path to its source. The feedback overloaded the planet killer systems. Explosions ripped through the massive weapon as its own energy turned against it. William watched in amazement as 3 hegemony dreadnoughts were destroyed in the chain reaction. Sir, said Garcia with a note of awe in her voice, the hegemony fleet is in disarray. Their ships are losing coordination. On Earth, people saw flashes of light in the sky as the battle raged. In her shelter, Karen Powell stared upward as a blue glow spread across the night, the quantum shield becoming visible even from the ground. The tide had turned. Earth was fighting back, and for the first time, the hegemony was losing. Admiral Ellen Grant stood on the bridge of her flagship, the UES Defender. Earth's fleet now pressed its advantage across the solar system. The quantum virus had crippled the hegemony's ability to coordinate their ships. Their perfect formations were breaking apart. Admiral, Vice Admiral Winters reports the enemy's retreat path is cut off, her communications officer said. Ellen nodded. Good. Tell Captain Ford to move in on the hegemony flagship. We're taking General Krozak alive if possible. On the deterrent, Captain William Ford prepared his crew for the most dangerous part of their mission. The hegemony flagship was massive, 3 times the size of any Earth vessel. All hands to battle stations, he ordered. Prepare boarding teams. Lieutenant Garcia looked up from her console. Sir, they still have internal defenses. Our people will be at risk. I know, William said quietly, but we need their command codes and databases, and we need to show them that humans won't just destroy them from a distance. While the main fleet engaged the remaining hegemony ships, the deterrent approached the alien flagship. Its weapons had been damaged in the earlier fighting, but its engines still worked as it tried to escape. "Target their engine section," William ordered. "Disable, don't destroy." Precision fire from the deterrent hit the flagship's engines. The huge alien ship slowed to a stop, drifting in space. "Boarding teams ready," reported the security chief. William stood. "I'm going with them." On Earth, the quantum shield still glowed in the sky. People emerged from shelters, looking up in wonder. News spread quickly. The aliens were losing. Earth was fighting back. In the Seattle shelter, Karen Powell received a message from her brother. "It's almost over. We've won." She showed the message to the other adults in the shelter. Hope spread through the room like a wave. On the moon base, Jason Martinez and his team monitored the shield's power levels. The feedback from the alien weapon had strained their systems. "Power at 70%, Beth reported, but holding steady." Jason relaxed slightly. "Good. Keep it active until we get the all clear." His phone beeped with a message from his sister Olivia. "The news says we're winning. Is it true?" He smiled as he typed his reply. "Yes. The war will be over soon." In the war room, General Harrison watched as Earth forces surrounded the remaining hegemony ships. Some were surrendering. Others fought to the end. "Sir," said Lieutenant Murray, "Captain Ford's team has boarded the enemy flagship." Frank nodded. "Keep me updated on their progress." Inside the hegemony flagship, William led a team of soldiers through alien corridors. The ship's design was strange, with curved walls and pulsing lights. They met resistance from hegemony troops, but Earth's advanced weapons gave them the advantage. "Bridge should be ahead," said the team's navigator, checking a scanner. Heavy life signs detected. William raised his hand, signaling the team to stop. "Remember, we want prisoners if possible, especially Krazak." They approached the bridge doors cautiously. With a nod from William, the team's engineer planted breaching charges. The explosion blew the doors open. William's team rushed in, weapons ready. On the bridge stood General Krazak, surrounded by his officers. The alien commander was taller than William expected, with gray skin and 4 yellow eyes that showed no fear. "You deceived us," Krazak said in his metallic translated voice. "Yes," William replied simply, "just as you deceived others before us. The difference is, we were ready for you." Krazak seemed to study William. "The hegemony has conquered 17 worlds. No species has ever defeated us. First time for everything," William said. "Your fleet is destroyed or captured. Your weapon is gone. Surrender now." For a long moment, Krazak was silent. Then, slowly, he placed his command staff on the floor. "The hegemony," he said, "surrenders to Earth. Across the solar system, the remaining alien ships powered down their weapons as the surrender order spread. The battle was over. Earth had won." 1 week after the battle, Captain William Ford stood in the Grand Hall of the United Nations in New York. The room was packed with people from around the world. On the stage, General Krazak and 5 other hegemony officers stood under guard, their weapons and armor removed. World leaders had gathered to decide the fate of the captured aliens and what to do with their technology. Earth's victory had changed everything. The planet's hidden strength was now revealed to the galaxy. "Captain Ford," said the Secretary General, "please share your report." William stepped to the podium. "The hegemony fleet has been neutralized. 56 ships were destroyed, 32 captured. The remaining vessels retreated beyond Neptune, but were intercepted by Vice Admiral Winter's forces." A screen behind him showed images of the battle and its aftermath. People in the audience gasped at the sight of Earth's secret fleet in action. "We've learned that the hegemony has conquered 17 other worlds," William continued. "Their people are enslaved, their resources harvested. Earth is the first planet to successfully resist them." As William returned to his seat, A commotion started at the back of the hall. The doors opened, and a group of strange beings entered. They weren't human. They had blue skin, large eyes, and slender bodies. "Representatives from Proxima Centauri," announced a UN official. More aliens followed. Tall, fur-covered beings, small creatures with 4 arms. Humanoids with scaled skin. 12 different species in all. Ambassador Susan Richards approached the podium. "These are representatives from worlds previously attacked by the hegemony. They've been watching our battle. Now they come seeking alliance with Earth." The blue-skinned alien stepped forward. "For centuries, we watched helplessly as the hegemony expanded. No one could stop them, until humans. You did in days what we couldn't do in generations. We wish to learn from you." In the audience, Karen Powell sat with her brother Joe, now revealed as a pilot in Earth's secret fleet. "Did you know about all this?" she whispered. "Parts of it," he said. "I knew we were stronger than we appeared, but I had no idea there were other aliens watching." On the stage, Captain Ford and Admiral Grant received medals for their service. When William stepped to the microphone, the hall fell silent. "Peace has always been humanity's preference," he said. "But 30 years ago, our leaders understood that true peace requires the strength to defend it. We built our fleet not to conquer, but to ensure that humans would never be conquered." After the ceremony, Commander Samantha Collins stood on the observation deck of Sentinel-1, looking down at Earth. The planet seemed peaceful from space, giving no hint of its hidden power. A communications officer approached her. "Commander, I have a message for you. 17 more alien civilizations wish to establish diplomatic relations with Earth." Samantha smiled. Humanity's place in the galaxy had changed forever, not just because of their victory, but because of how quickly they achieved it. In his prison cell, General Kradzak spoke with William Ford through a force field barrier. "I still don't understand," the alien said. "How did you hide such power from us?" "We learned long ago that appearing weak when you are strong is the wisest strategy," William replied. "Your spies saw what we wanted them to see." "What will happen to my people now?" Kradzak asked. "That's not for me to decide," William said. "But unlike the hegemony, humans don't enslave other species. We'll help the worlds you conquered rebuild." As William left the prison, he met Admiral Grant in the hallway. "Ready for the next mission?" she asked. "What is it?" he replied. "Diplomatic tour of the liberated worlds. Earth is sending ships to help them rebuild. The deterrent will lead the fleet." William nodded. The war was over, but humanity's journey to the stars was just beginning. The moment Earth's fleet had responded, everything changed. Not just for humans, but for all the species watching from across the galaxy. The message was clear. Earth was not to be underestimated, and humans would be a force for peace among the stars.